Welcome to the last day of my 7-day trip around the UK, finishing off here in my home park, Blackpool Pleasure Beach. You just saw there the new shop that they've opened this weekend. Fantastic. There's much better use of that space than the old ticket office now that everything's kind of e-tickets. We're only here for probably about half a day. I got to head back up to Edinburgh. So this is just a fly-in visit. I'm going to try and get on things we didn't get on opening day. I am disappointed because it's April 7th, which initially was thought to be the first day of technical previews on Valhalla, and they announced yesterday it's been pushed back to the 12th. So I'm not going to get on that, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll have a nice day. The weather's great and there's tons of rides here to get on, so let's get going. You can tell it is getting close though, because they have now put the queue line in, which wasn't here 2 weeks ago. I assume they're still testing running boats around. Water fountain on. Just looks so much fresher, so much nicer around here. And what we've heard of the soundtrack, I really like it. So I will try and come back down once it's open and get on it. Yeah, looking forward to it. After such a long wait, it's good that the hype is finally building up, because I think a lot of people had almost lost hope, including Amanda Thompson. She seems beyond fed up. She was sitting in the shop today, just watching everybody take it all in. It looks like the inside of the station's had a little bit of a facelift, but I can still see the giant hose for that hoover. So you're still going to get soaked on this ride, which, I don't know, it's a water ride you expect to get wet, but this ride really takes the biscuit. I was kind of hoping it was more of a mildly moist than an absolute drenching. Started the morning off there on the Ghost Train, a real classic, the first ride ever to call itself a Ghost Train. Opened 1930, I believe. It's not one I do very often because it can have a huge queue, but I hadn't even opened there, so I got on it. My daughter's disappeared on Airbender, and I think we're going to join the queue for Nickelodeon Streak, another classic. Just had a go on Nickelodeon Streak. I was reading up in the queue because my daughter was saying it'd be good if this had 2 trains on it, and I don't think it can have 2 trains because it's got a manual braking system. But apparently before 2006 it didn't even have restraints, which seems kind of mental. But it's a fun little ride. I'm curious because there was some talk a year or 2 ago about whether the Nickelodeon IP was going to be removed. There wasn't a Slime Fest last year, which I thought meant it was going, but they've announced a whole pile of Nickelodeon stuff for this year, so maybe it's been extended. I mean, they started bringing Bradley Beaver back, so I thought maybe it was game over for Nickelodeon land. But it's still here. Another thing I said in the last video, I see a lot of people trying to scan their tickets one by one. If you're coming as a group or a family, make a group ticket, one QR code, scan it, you all get through. Make life a lot simpler. And set it as your lock screen as well. That'll speed things up because you won't have to faff about with the app. I think we're going to try and get an icon now, which has a massive queue. Okay, maybe not. I don't know what we're doing. We'll find out. Just had a shot on Icon. Still probably my favourite coaster in the UK as it stands right now. I absolutely love that ride, been on it so many times. My daughter and her boyfriend are about to go on Enzo, which is an upcharge, 15 quid to be on the back row of one of the trains that has spinning seats, which I think they're going to try and get on separately because then you will spin much more, which is fantastic. I'm curious about that ride though, because they put, a couple of years ago they changed the restraints to have seatbelts on them, which it doesn't need, and if you've been on any other Mack coasters, they don't have. So I don't know if it's an insurance thing, if it's to give people confidence. It doesn't need them. But anyway, we're going to walk around, get in the Enzo queue, and see these two spinning around. So they've done a lot of work to Big Dipper since I was here a couple of weeks ago. There's a new metal structure up top, and they've done a lot of painting. I've got to say, it looks a lot fresher when it's properly painted white and red. They haven't painted it for many years, I believe, because that tends to make the wood last longer. But for its 100th birthday, as I say, they're giving it a glow up, and it's going to have a birthday party in August. I'm sure it'll open before that, but they've got a lot of painting to do between now and then, but it is starting to look really fresh. So it'll be good to see when it's completely finished. Because of that though, that's usually where you go to get into Enzo, and that's all blocked off. So we're trying to find another way around to that queue line. Okay. Mentioned the last time I was here that there's a lot of talk about what Pleasure Beach is going to do next. This section in here used to be the Bolodrome, is almost empty now, like as in there's very little left. So there's a lot of speculation that that's going to get demolished and be the space for the next ride. We've obviously got what used to be the Wild Mouse, it's now the Hub. So there's tons of space in this part of the park. You know, a lot of people say there's no space in Pleasure Beach for more rides. This is one park that can find a way to make space. I'm curious, it'll be good to see something new. It's been 5 years since Icon, and obviously it takes a long time to build a new ride, or plan it and build it, so yeah. I think we're going to try and do Grand National. We were going to do Infusion, it was 20 minutes, it's now up at an hour. I'm not waiting an hour for that. So let's go and do Grand National. This hasn't quite gone to plan. First it was Infusion, was sitting at 20 minutes, and then when I decided to go on it, jumped to an hour. Then I thought we'd go on Grand National, go over here, and it's shut. We got on the flying machines and then went around Kiss Me Quick. Tons of new merch, new hoodies, new bottles for Big Dipper, new Valhalla merch. Yeah. So I'm glad I come to this park a lot, otherwise I'd be quite frustrated today, because I'm not sure I'm going to get on very much, which, because it's a park I visit a lot, it doesn't bother me. I know I've been quite critical of other parks this week, and in all fairness I'd probably be quite critical of Blackpool if it wasn't a park I'd visited so many times. So if, you know, if this was a one-off and you went to get on everything, you'd be struggling today. And it's not even that busy.
trail with both hands at all times. Not like your arms in the air. Please stand behind the yellow line until the train control moves the station.
Okay, you can't make this up. So we were standing outside Grand National trying to get on it, and it was broken down. I asked the guy, how long is it going to be? Don't know, he said. So we thought, right, we'll go over at Coasters, get some lunch. Coasters isn't selling food, it's only doing drinks. As soon as we got to Coasters, Grand National reopened. So we had a go on it. Actually probably the smoothest go I have ever had on Grand National. Took a middle row. I know Scott, on your experience guide, thinks it's the best Woody in the country. I don't think I'd agree with him, but that was actually a very pleasant ride. So now we're trying to find somewhere to eat because, well, I don't know what we're going to do. So we're going to try Burger King and then maybe end up in Pizza Pasta if that's busy. That's my day and my week come to an end. We went to Burger King for lunch, which I was going to say is organised chaos, but I think it's just chaos. And it wasn't even that busy, but so disorganised. And then finished the day on the big one, which was running really well, back row. We kind of got a massive amount of ejector at the top. It's been an interesting day. I mean, I'm here a lot, so I don't need to do a lot when I'm here. I can go on a couple of rides and still enjoy myself. If I was to compare this to the rest of the parks this week, I would have been disappointed. I've not got on a huge amount. It's been a really mixed bag. Flamingo Land was great, Fantasy Island was terrible, Legoland was Thorpe Park was fantastic, Chessington was pretty bad, Drayton Manor was good, and today I enjoyed myself, but again, if I was comparing it with the rest, probably not. I also had absolutely terrible timing. I went to Chessington and Jumanji opens in 4 weeks. I went to Thorpe Park and Ghost Train opens soon. I went to Drayton Manor and Maelstrom was shut. I went to Blackpool and Valhalla has been delayed. So, you know, it's been an interesting week. But, you know, I've done something silly like 1,000 miles driving around the UK to go to all these parks. So, it's been fun. I will put up here a link to all the vlogs from the rest of the week. I'll put a video down here that YouTube reckons you want to watch. Like and subscribe. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.